President Joe Biden is vowing that the US economy will not be held hostage anymore by China's dominance over global supply chains.
So instead of relying on chips made overseas in places like China, the supply chain for those chips will be here in America, in Michigan. It's a game changer. America invented. I reminded the chairman of SK has become a good acquaintance. We invented the chip in America. We invented the chip in America. Then we got lazy. We're making things here in America, as I said earlier, and we're shipping them overseas instead of shipping jobs overseas. Look, like we've been doing this for much too long.
Biden's signature green industry policy is expected to pump billions of dollars into climate-friendly technologies. It'll provide strong backing for American-made products. A similar effort is being put into microchip manufacturing. Meanwhile, Europeans fear an unfair US advantage in the sectors, as they're reeling from the economic consequences of the Ukraine war and Western attempts to end reliance on Russian energy supplies. Talk in Europe is now increasingly on whether the bloc should respond with its own subsidies, and support of homegrown products can effectively start a trade war. Well, for more on this, our correspondent Susan Tirani standing by for us in New York City. Susan, President Biden again pushing for more US manufacturing. What's behind this latest push?
Well, it was interesting during that speech, which was in Michigan, really Michigan being a hub for traditional manufacturing. After all, this was an electric car manufacturer on the one hand, but, you know, Detroit, Michigan was a hub for the auto manufacturing for many years. So it's no surprise that he really wanted to say that America can go back to that. The location was very significant. But he also tied this speech for America leading in this sense to the CHIP Act that his administration passed. If you remember back in August, the bill included about $52 billion in funding for U.S. companies for the manufacturing of chips, which is not only for electric vehicles, but for things like smartphones. And that's something that China has been really weary of. It also comes at a time that it angered China because it's a response to a separate proposal for the National Defense Authorization Act aimed at banning government agencies from doing business with Chinese semiconductor manufacturer as well. So he also said in that speech, where is it written that America cannot lead in the world of manufacturing again? So I think these issues all tie together with Biden making this speech, and then it also comes at a time when he had, you know, that meeting with Xi, where he said that she was, according to Biden, uncomfortable about America's ambitions and aspirations in the chip manufacturing industry.
And Susan, this idea of countering China, I mean, it continues to be a big theme for President Biden. Where do you see things going both home and abroad when it comes to try and countering China's dominance?
Yeah, you know, right now there is a lot of talk about this supply chain issue, and I think the issue with the chips is one aspect of it. The manufacturing in this bill that was passed, I think, has been something that the Biden administration has been moving forward with. In terms of trade, the Biden administration has been following a lot of what the Trump administration has been following. But I think ultimately what needs to be done is for this administration to take a stronger stance when it comes to issues and move away from the rhetoric when it comes to issues, for example, on climate, and not give lip service to a country like China when it's the largest polluter, for example, and then, congratulate it and have it off the hook when it comes to issues like climate. And I think that, the United States would benefit tremendously if it really presses China on that aspect of it instead of cooperating with it and then trying to get the advantage on issues related to trade.
Susan, thank you very much. We're going to come back to you in a few minutes for our next story, so just stay put if you can.